Hey, me again. Today it's the 9th of August and it's grey outside. It's raining very lightly right now and it's a bit grey inside as well. Not just because the walls are all white and yeah, it's looking kind of grey. I mean inside as in inside myself, it's I feel weird. I don't know. I just finished drawing this and I really didn't like it again. I should stop saying I don't like my stuff. Huh? That's a bad idea. I mean, if I liked my stuff and if I convinced myself that it was good, maybe it would be easier for me to learn and progress. I keep saying that everything I do sucks. That's really discouraging. I don't know how bad this sounds, but I mean, there's people who do stuff that looks even worse than I do, and they love it. They fucking love it because they did it. That would be nice, I guess. Wow, I'm really not good at this right now, am I? I really should like learn how you do this stuff. Maybe you have to be in the mood, like you want to talk to nothingness. I don't really want to talk to nothingness right now, so maybe I shouldn't be recording. But maybe that makes it a bit more real. I don't know. I mean, most conversations I have, I don't really want to have, and they're just a consequence of the situation. So it's a bit more real in that sense. At the start of this video I show some other sketches I've been doing and I haven't recorded because I was just testing some stuff. And yeah, this one is really bad. This one looks really bad, but at least I was able to practice some perspective and some soft shading with the big forbidden pen, which is always a bit of fun. But yeah, at some point I was like, okay, I don't like this anymore. So I rushed it, and yeah, it's really bad. But again, it's practice. I don't think it was a waste of time, and I like the way that the recording turned out and the way the progress can be seen and the way you could, if you wanted to, pinpoint the exact moment when I just give up on the drawing and I start just, I don't know, putting my anger into it, maybe. My frustration and shit, I don't know. I don't know how obvious it is. but yeah, it happened. But it was a fun drawing. I liked it in that sense. Not the output, but it was a fun process. For this one I took like 2 hours, maybe even more, which is a bit ridiculous. And I also had to, make a cut at some point because I had to go to the bathroom and I forgot to change the number of the video in the roll of paper towels, but whatever. Anyway, what am I doing with my hand, dude? What? Okay, I don't know. I don't know what that was, but yeah, I don't know. I'm watching the footage right now, and yeah, I have no idea what I just did with my hand. Hopefully, the audio syncs to the video because that's really weird, man. What the fuck? What the fuck was that, dude? I promise I wasn't masturbating or nothing. I would tell you, if I happened to. Anyways, this time around I was listening the whole time through to Opa, that's a neighbor. It was Autos, Sheds, Aviones, Barcos by Serushiran. I'm really into national rock right now, it seems. So yeah, I don't know what I was going for with this. I made an initial sketch in pencil and kind of followed it afterwards, but I many times during the process, during the making of this, I just paused and stared at the page, at the drawing, and I was like, okay, what the fuck do I do now? What's the next step? What kind of art style do I want for this? What will look good? What will look bad? And I just didn't know. It's a struggle. You know what I struggle with? No matter the type of art style that I try to go for? Big empty spaces. And there are a ton of big empty spaces in this drawing that I didn't know how to handle. So yeah, I was staring and thinking, okay, how do I fill this up? You know, how do I make it look alright? And so I didn't make it look alright. That's the solution, I guess. You just don't. You just accept that it looks like shit and move on. So yeah, I struggle with that. So, you know, there's two ways to solve that. Either you learn how to deal with it in some way, be as some kind of technique, some type of, you know, yeah, some technique, some you know, some criteria or something, or some type of, you know, filler or texture. You know, you learn how to make textures that fit the art style you're going for. Or you could just ignore big empty spaces altogether and either paint them, you know, solid black, or just make it so that your drawing is full of very cramped, you know, thin lines, so that you don't end up with these huge open spaces. You know, I think both are valid solutions. I'm not kidding. But yeah, I like to do soft shading with these big pens. It's fun for me. I like to do it. I have some practice with them, but I really would like to use like an isograph, like a rod ring isograph, or a good quality shell pen, because the reason I don't is because they cost a lot of money here, like a ton of money. You know, if you want a rod ring isograph, I'm sure you pay over 2,000 Argentine pesos. Actually, let me look that up real quick. Let's see. I'm looking up the price of the isograph, the rod ring isograph, in what is basically the Argentine equivalent of eBay or Amazon. Yeah, it's like 2,000. It's close to 2,000. Yep, a bit less, but yeah, that's a lot of money for a tool for drawing when you are so bad at drawing. You know, if I was really good at it, I would be like, yeah, it's worth it. But I feel like my drawings would not be that much better just because of the tool. It's more like I just don't really know how to do perspective and shading and proportions and playing with big and small stuff and shading. I already said that. But yeah, lighting in general, and you know, making good lines overall. It's just mostly about myself and not about the tools. You know, I can't really complain too much about the bigs. They are really cheap in comparison. They are like 50 Argentine pesos each big pen, which is like, you know, let me think. I'm thinking, but I'm under stress, so I can't really do math in my head right now. But I'm trying to get the percentage. Yeah, it's like 2.5% the price of of uh, of a rotring isograph, each big pen. So that's like a lot. That means you can buy like 40 pens, like 40 big pens individually for each rotring isograph. Yeah, that's a bit much for me, so I'd rather use the big pen for now. And there's a lot of tools in between in both precision and pricing, but it's like, yeah, it's just, I feel like it's not worth it. But I do feel like, the big pen, it does lack some precision, and for some types of shading and drawing, it kinda sucks ass. But it is what it is, right? I don't really, again, I feel like I should focus on other stuff, not the tools, but the basics, which I don't really focus on ever, and I should. I don't really invest time in learning the basics, but I feel like I really should. Also, there's always been something really pretty to me about being able to make something that can potentially look really, really good using extremely cheap tools. In this video, for example, I don't make something really, really pretty, but I could have. And the thing is, I am using a big pen, which again is like 50 Argentine pesos, and I'm using a folded piece of printer paper, like A4 size printer paper, just folded in four, and used like a tiny little 8-page sketchbook. That's it. That costs nothing itself. Like a single sheet of printer paper, it costs nothing. So you can basically create really pretty things, potentially, again, just potentially, without spending much money at all. And I think that it's just a personal feeling of mine. Like, the simpler it is to bring about a work of art, the cheaper it is, the more readily available the resources are, and the more portable they are, the more you can carry them around with you, the more valuable they are to me. So I really like the cheap pens and the cheap paper, and being able to put the cheap pen and the cheap piece of paper in your pocket and carry it somewhere and start drawing, like in the middle of the streets, which is something I sometimes do. That's so enjoyable to me. That's so pretty. And I still feel like there's so many things that you have to pay a lot of money for, and you can't carry around easily, like musical instruments that are still beautiful. But I do find a special type of beauty in the idea that you can make beautiful things basically anywhere, and basically without spending money at all, like just through pure skill. So you will be using the same paper as me and the same pen as me, and if you have the skill and you have spent the time practicing, you could just sit around in some park in the middle of the city and start drawing your way into a very beautiful art piece, a very beautiful work of art. Again, that's just potentially, right? Most people will, I don't know what they will create if they are given the chance, but some people, they have the skill, they have put in the time, they have put in the practice, they have the talent. So with only spending like 50 Argentine pesos, which is nothing, it's like half a US dollar, you can create beautiful things. And again, I really like that. And honestly, if you were good enough, if you were actually like amazing at using the pen, at making the pen do whatever you want it to do, and that being able to create whatever is in your mind and reflect it on the paper, if you are able to do all those things really well, then it doesn't matter that you're using a 50 Argentine peso pen and a really cheap piece of printer paper. You are going to be able to create something wonderful, and it's going to be worth so much more than those tools combined. And that can be said for, again, a ton of things, right? You could spend a ton of money in art supplies and create something that is so beautiful that most people would deem it, you know, more valuable than those tools, even though the tools were so expensive. But with the big pen, that's so much easier to do. Like, the price is so low that as soon as you create something barely passable, it's suddenly more valuable in a way, more valuable than the tool itself. And I find that to be super interesting as well, how easy it can be for some people who are skilled enough to create something so much valuable than the things they used to create those things. And again, I want to stress this: if you're good, that's easy. That's routine, basically. I mean, a good artist's sketch, just 10-minute sketch, will be worth so much more than the tools, and they will be beautiful for sure. Well, maybe if they are trying to make it ugly, then no, but you know what I mean. Maybe in most circumstances it's going to be beautiful. So yeah, you can see me right now just enjoying the process of making the soft shadows on the iris that's about to be pierced by this conical shaped weird stuff. This drawing, I mean, in the back of my mind, it was inspired by a scene in, I think it's the end of Evangelion, or maybe it's in the anime, I don't know, but you know, it's a scene, I think it's the movie, where, you know, giant rays eyes get pierced by, I think, the Eva 01, maybe. I don't really remember, but I just remember, you know, being very impressionable when I was little, when I was like 15, and watching that movie for the first time and seeing that scene of, you know, the mecha coming out of Ray's eyes, and I really liked that scene artistically, and it stuck with me. And I always want to draw that kind of stuff, you know, eyes in perspective, like looking at them for really up close, but from a perspective, and then something piercing from inside, which is what I try to go for here. I think it's pretty, you know, I think it's pretty. That's basically it. I just think it's pretty. Of course, I didn't really do a good job here. It's disgustingly bad. And again, I feel like, you know, I don't expect people to watch these videos, but if someone were to watch this and were to listen to me, which I don't even recommend, I'd rather just play the video and listen to music instead, but I feel like they would feel like I'm attention seeking, or like, you know, begging for someone to come and tell me, nah bro, your drawings are good. But no, honestly, I'm just being honest. I talked about this in the first video I recorded, but I am a victim of this phenomena of being overexposed to beautiful things by masters. Like, just after finishing this drawing, and even before I started this drawing, I was looking at some artwork by James Sheen, who is one of my favorite artists of like modern times. James Sheen, if you don't know him, you know, he's a master of his craft. He's an illustrator, drawer, an artist in general, but he does drawings, paintings, and illustration, and, you know, marketing work too. But he's very well known. He has gained a ton of prizes, and he makes some of the most beautiful things I've ever seen, which is why he's one of my favorite artists. But yeah, you just look up James Sheen sketchbook or something and stare at those drawings for a while, and you'll realize that pretty much every other drawing that you have ever seen on a sketchbook is trash. It's sad because That's just not true, right? Just because something is better does not mean that what you've seen before is trash all of a sudden. Not the case, but at the same time, it's just so good that everything else is just so pale in comparison. It's just so bad. And that's not the reason why this drawing in particular that I am making is bad. This is bad because it is bad. But what I mean is, I can't even fathom the idea of thinking this is decent after having been exposed even just today at the drawings of this dude who is an absolute master, who has put in the time for sure, insane amounts of time. This is what he does basically, and he's one of the best in the world at it. But it's complicated, I want to like the stuff I do, but I can't bring myself to if I'm exposed constantly to just better things all the time. So maybe the solution is to stop using the internet for like a couple months and just focus on doing stuff and not caring about comparing it to other stuff, or at least not using it for long enough until the brain forgets these beautiful things that it once saw and it is only exposed to its own creations. Then maybe I could feel better about them, but I'm not going to do that for many reasons. Mainly because I need the internet to do stuff that I do on the regular for academia, like for university, but also because I like YouTube funny. I really like YouTube, so I'm not gonna you know what I'm saying. But I actually am currently, and I have been since couple months or maybe years at this point. I've been using an add-on for Chrome which blocks sites that you don't want to visit because they are distracting, or because that you're visiting that site because you're trying to procrastinate when you shouldn't be. So I have blocked Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I don't have Twitter or Instagram accounts, but I will still go if I have the chance. If I let myself do it, I will still go regularly and check some funny accounts from people I know, or entertainers in general, or artists. Just see what's up, see what's funny. So I block it. I block the page so that I don't allow myself to do that. And same with Instagram. I don't have an Instagram account, but if given the chance, I will eventually click on some link to some funny stuff or some pretty stuff from some artist, and I'll waste my time there for no reason. I do have a Facebook account, but I barely use it, and I'm not even proud of the way in which I use it. So I also don't want to spend my time there. So those are the 3 sites that I block to myself, that I don't allow myself to go to on the regular. And it works, It makes you spend less time just doing nothing. So you can instead make ugly drawings and post them to YouTube, making Susan extremely angry, I'm sure. Poor Susan, bro. What did she do to deserve this? But anyway, remember to pretend that the roll of paper towels says 3 instead of 2, because this is the 3rd. But also I wanted to say that what did I want to say? My god, I'm bad at this, dude. Holy shit, I'm bad at it. Oh my god, dude. I forget. I don't remember. I actually don't remember what I was gonna say. It was important too, but well, it's gonna come back, boys. Don't worry about it. honestly, I'm surprised at how good the camera quality is on this phone. Like it's 1080 HD. It's not 4K or nothing, but it still looks really good. I didn't expect it to look this good. It makes me happy, that I can, make this kind of stuff just with the cell phone. The bad thing about it, and I wish I was oblivious to this and just didn't even know that this is a fact, but the bad thing about it is that each of these videos is like 5 gigabytes. The phone has 128 gigabytes of storage, so 5 gigs is actually a lot. So what I do is I record the video and then I immediately send it to the computer. But the problem is that when you read and write and erase and rewrite in a disk, even if it's a flash type, it's not actually mechanical like an HDD. Regardless, the disk actually gets spent. Like you're actually using the disk space, and with every single one of these operations you are basically doing irreversible damage to the disk. So you're basically making it so that it will go bad sooner. So that sucks, because if you're like writing and erasing 5 gigabytes of memory from your phone's storage for like a long time, like a couple years, before the phone becomes obsolete by itself for other reasons, I'm sure that that's not going to be good for the phone. And again, I wish I was oblivious to that and just didn't care, but it is a concern. You really don't want the disk write and read speed to be like a bottleneck, because it sucks. As a bottleneck, it fucking sucks. It makes everything go slower, and the phone will probably keep telling you that you have 128 gigabytes of storage every single time, but in reality it will have less. That's a thing that happens with disks as well. Like you just use some places of the storage and you can't keep using them basically. So they get wasted, they get spent. So yeah, that's a concern, but it's not that big of a concern, don't worry about it. I don't know if the audio is synced to the video, but this is the point in which I basically said fuck it. I don't actually like this drawing anymore, let's just do something and finish it, right? And there's still quite a chunk of video left. Actually not that much, but there's some video left. But at this point I was like, yeah, fuck it, dude. So yeah. But that's okay, it doesn't need to be a masterpiece. It never was a masterpiece from the first pencil sketch. It was already decided that this was not going to be a masterpiece, but there's no point in spending like 5 hours in a single sketch. Makes way more sense to just let it go at some point and be like, yeah, it's done, let's move on to the next one. At least I think that makes sense, because it's meant to be practice, right? And again, maybe I could be practicing in a more optimal way. I could be like focusing on things that should be more important to me, like actual basics of drawing, perspective and proportions. Again, really important stuff that I'm not even trying to learn right now, but this is still practice, right? I don't draw that often, so this is good brain to hand to ballpoint coordination practice, and there is some perspective to this, and there is some practice of soft shading and stuff like that. So it's alright. It's something. As long as it's something, it's okay. I don't mind it. And this surely is something. Again, not something good, but it's something. But I really should stop saying that my stuff isn't good, because that's not how you encourage yourself, that's not how you improve, right? I feel like the most healthy way to improve at something is to be conscious of the fact that you are not good, but not punish yourself for it. Just keep doing it because it's fun, because it's nice to do, which is the main reason why I do this kind of stuff. Because it's fun, because I like doing it, because I like putting order in a paper where there previously was nothingness. I like that, so that's why I do this, and that's cool. But yeah, I shouldn't keep bashing myself for it not looking good, I think, because I don't think that's productive to me actually learning at all. Healthiest way of learning is to like the stuff you do even though you find it disgusting, I think. And I don't really like the stuff I do, so I need to start liking the stuff I do. Because if I actually like the stuff I do, then I will want to do more of it. And that would be good. That would be good if I wanted to do more of it. I think, at least. I think so. You know what? Watching the sped up footage, this is not that much of a disgusting drawing. This is not that bad. Maybe it's because I still haven't rushed the top part, which is what's coming next, I think. But if you were to post this video right now, that's not that bad. Right? That doesn't look that bad. But now it's gonna get bad. Yup, it's coming. It's real. There we go. Yeah, this is where the fuck up begins, I guess. And I was done with this drawing before, and I was like, fuck it. But now that I did this and it's so bad, and I fucked up this star thingy so bad, I was like, yeah, okay, like, fuck it. Actually, fuck it, dude. It's over. And I think talking about the fact that I decided to say fuck it and do this, I think it's actually raising my mood a little bit, or maybe it's just the speaking itself. But I was feeling a bit grey when I started recording, and now this is fun and this is funny, and it's funny how I fuck up like that. I do like the soft shadows though. I think that some parts of this drawing look good, some particular parts, but only some very, very localized parts. Like, I would say, in terms of area, like, I'm talking about pieces of area, like squares that are like 0.01% of the total area of the drawing. That's what I mean when I say that some parts of the drawing look good. I mean, if you really zoom in, there's some tiny, tiny parts sparsely distributed here and there in the canvas that actually look good to me, that I'm pleased with, that I can look at and say, yeah, those are some good lines, man. You did some good lines there. But most of it is not that good. That's okay. Don't worry about it. Next time it might be better. Maybe not. Maybe next time it will be much worse, like that the first drawing I made. I actually think, in retrospect, that was a really good way to start the channel, to start this documentation of my progress and this documentation of my drawing and speaking. I think it was a really good one, because it was so bad. It was so bad that there's no pressure. Because if I had done my magnum opus, right, my masterpiece, my best work in that first video, then the pressure would be, I wouldn't be able to handle the pressure, you know what I mean? Like, I would just have to perform every time up to that standard. But because my first drawing sucked so fucking bad, I'm good. I'm Gucci. We Gucci. It's cool. I think, at least, right? Maybe.